Thanks so much for coming to spend some time with me today.
My pleasure.
Well, I am so happy to have you on MAC, which for those listening is the Member Advocate Council. And Larry just jumped in with 2 feet, excited to help. So thank you so much, Larry.
Again, I'm glad to do it.
Awesome. So can I just ask you a few questions about what has QHS done for you personally?
Well, let's say that it's helped me overcome some struggles in my life, and primarily, probably the biggest struggle I had was with my weight. And why my weight? Because I basically have been a fit person, and then I went through a time in my life where I I didn't adhere to the disciplines of working out and eating the right foods and stuff. But where QHS comes in is I had a difficult time mustering up I'm going to call it the intestinal fortitude to do what I knew was the right thing to do. But I found, kind of interestingly, when I started carrying the white device, that a general sense of well-being was one of the byproducts of it, or one of the results. Whether you want to call it a byproduct or a result, it's up to you. For me, it was one of the results. And as you start having this general sense of well-being, but an improved sense of well-being, because I'm a positive person anyway, but I just didn't have what it took to get up underneath it and lift myself to the point of where I could do the discipline of eating and maybe sleeping. I don't sleep as good as I should, but I just can't go to sleep sometimes. But when I got my QHS device, sleep came a little bit easier. And all of a sudden, the mind, the strength of mind to take on a weight reduction program all of a sudden became more fluid. And although I researched some different things that I could do, the fact that I was ready to engage, I attribute to what the QHS device has done for me, is that I was ready to sink, my teeth into it, figuratively, of course, and and do something about it. And so, as some of you may or may not know, I adopted the carnivore way of eating. And it was something that deeply resonated with me. And then when you combine that with a general sense of well-being, it just started happening. And over a course of about 7 months, I've lost 65 pounds. Okay.
Wow.
I feel as good as I did when I was a young buck. Okay. Probably better. Because I'm a lot smarter than I was back then. Um, so that right there has been an underlying result. Now, as I look, I have some scars. I got cut by a chainsaw. Yes, I'm a pretty outdoorsy kind of person, but a chainsaw got away from me and hit me on right above my knee on my left leg. It didn't affect anything in terms of muscular or nerve damage or anything, but it was just kind of a tap and go. But it was enough to put a very healthy scar right above my knee. Now, I mention that because if you know anything about chainsaws, they do not cut. I mean, you wouldn't use them for cutting paper, okay? They're rough. It's a rough cut. And my knee was cut very roughly, and I could feel ridges and little knots and everything of where this cut was. Well, the other day I was sitting down. I might have even been on a volunteer call, and I was wearing shorts, and I just kind of went down and I rubbed my knee, and I could not feel any of the little knots, nor could I feel any of the ridges of the cut lines, and it was starting to disappear. Well, why is it starting to disappear? Okay, I don't do anything differently that would cause it to disappear. I don't use a different soap when I wash to cause it to disappear. The only thing is I believe that my device is somehow or another going in and changing the structure of my cells or returning them back to where they used to be or where they need to be. Um, I've gone to several. Um, I do my blood work quarterly. And so I go to my doctor's appointment, my general practitioner every quarter, and then I see my cardiologist every other quarter, so semi-annually. And both of them have said within the last year, when you combine, they don't know this, they don't know that I had this device, but they're saying there has been an improvement in my general numbers. And then of course, you start saying, okay, well, is it the diet or is it the device? Well, I'm going to tell you they've locked arms and they're both working together. Okay. And that right there is what makes it so stinking effective. Yes, the device is doing its job, but the device is also providing such a strong sense of well-being and such a strong sense of discipline that the results are just, I mean, I thought I was going to have to wait to go through the Q arc to get where I am today physically. Okay. I thought there was no way where I was before that I could get there. I mean, I'm wearing a 34 pant, which I haven't worn in a long time. Okay. And if I'm not really careful, my 34 pant may drop down to a 32. Okay. I will say, and I mean, I'm embarrassed to say it, but I was at a 40 and actually starting to outgrow a 40. And so, I mean, I mean, how do you put all this together other than the fact that there's the miracle of the device and what it does for you mentally and internally and spiritually, that the results are amazing.
That's awesome. Congratulations, Larry.
Thank you.
So you
And
feeling
Tracy,
good?
you had something to do with it too. You didn't shame me, but I remember your first WOW meeting, there was something about it that left a stirring in me that I had to do something. Okay. So there's but I think the device came in to fortify all the things that needed to get done to get the results.
Good. The goal of me is to inspire people to live their best life. And if that's what that first WOW meeting did, it sounds like it did, but it's
It
all
did.
about taking the next step, getting off the nail that's making you cry and own it, own your life and go create the best you. So I'm glad that it helped. It sounds amazing what you've done for yourself.
It did.
So let's get back to Mac now. How do you see your role in Mac as we move forward?
Well, I've been reading the threads, and first of all, I tend to be a person who looks for a problem. Where's the problem, and what can I do to solve it? You know, and so that's kind of where I see my role in Mac. And if you recall from my first, I've only been in one conference call, is that I was asking, what needs to get fixed? Where is there a problem? But if I can be candid about it, there is so much going on during the week in QHS. You know, what when I come, I'm putting myself in the shoes of somebody who's just coming into QHS. I would want to know, I mean, of all the things that are going on, which ones would we consider to be essential, and which ones have an element of optionality, and which ones are essential that I can be able to and get involved, be knowledged about it, and obviously if there's something I need to do to get myself ready to be, a more active member, and say, for example, we might say something like, if you can be on one of the Vibe Tribe calls, that would be good. If you can make the volunteer call, that would be good. And then, third, if you can at least, consider the Q&A call. Okay, that's the formula for engagement, initial engagement anyway. And then as you go along, if you see yourself fit in or you see certain needs being met, then you can add those or modulate it differently. But I'm going to tell you, I mean, I've been around now for well over a year. It's overwhelming when I think of all the things that are going on, because I look at it and I say, I want to engage in everything, but then I say, you know what? I can't be everywhere. So I have to pick and choose because of my time. I still work full time. I still, we have a family cattle ranch that I work on too. Okay, so I have, and then of course now, well, actually not now, but since the first of the year, I've been, jogging and running, 4 times a week. So at some point, I remember a couple times I said, you know what? What's more important is my health. If I can't make a QHS call, I can't make it. I'm going to take care of my health. But I don't think I'm that much different than a lot of people out there. And I'm speaking mainly to the realm of those that are not as engaged as we would like them to be. So my suggestion is along the lines of, what's keeping you from getting engaged, and what can we do to help you get better engaged so you can get more from your experience? Because I think what ends up happening is of course, I carry mine right here. I have mine on a lanyard. Okay. And so, you know, what can we offer you in terms of activity to help you feel like you're getting something out from this? Of course, you should be feeling it. Okay. I shouldn't have to tell you, you don't have to go to a meeting to say that you got something out of this, but this is what's, spurring that inner drive, and these meetings, feed your intellect and to some degree feed your heart too. So I would say I'd want to figure out what it would take to get that, the people that are already engaged, hey, they're already on, they've already caught the train, they're on the ride. But there's all these other people that are not, because I know what will happen over time. They will become disgruntled and fall away. That's just the normal course of attrition. I mean, I think once the QR hits, then Katie bar the door. Those however many thousand people that are disengaged, they'll be sitting at the front of the line. But until then, we've got to do something to at least feed their brain. If we can't feed their heart, at least feed their brain.
So let's back up a little bit. So first of all, Vibe Tribe is no longer, it's called Godspark Nation now.
Okay.
So just so you know, I lead it now. And we've kind of shifted a little bit. The energy is a little different, but everybody comes at all of our offerings from a different place. Some people are lonely and they need this engagement. Some people work and can't make the daytime calls, so everybody's different. And then that's why we always have replays. Like now with Godspark Nation, we do have a replay so that you get the message of the week and you can do like the little homework assignment. So I feel like everybody has to go into their heart and see which of these programs resonates with them the most. What do they feel like they need first? Because WOW is very physical. It's about how we take care of this vessel. Key is very spiritual. And so some people are already grounded in the spirituality and they feel like they need more physical and vice versa. So, but I think everybody just needs to go to a project that fits into their, daily work schedule or their routine and see how it makes them feel. Just try it out. We now have a video called Member Benefits, which talks a little bit about each one of our projects so that they can get a brief overview of what it's about. And, but we offer a whole lot. I want to ask the question to the members coming up here. Like, I want to do like a survey. Like, how can we support you? What do you feel like you need added to your life? That's the two questions that I'm going to actually propose to Mac that we come up with survey number 2 to see how QHS can best support them. Now, of course, we have the QT Wave, and that is, supporting. We know that over 99% of them, if they're turned on, they're working. But we also know that we can support the frequencies coming into our body by having lifestyle changes. And so that's what the projects are here to help with, and it's just multifaceted. So,
Okay.
but I like that. I think that it's important that, people plug in, and some people, they're too sick. They just can't even fathom being on a Zoom call. You know, they are just too sick. And God willing, we get them into, you know, we can help them
Amen.
faster and faster.
Amen.
So, okay, last question. What are you most excited to see in the future with QHS?
Well, I'm most excited to see a lot of people happy. Okay. Because I think, humanity um, needs to get happy. um, I think to me, the feeling of seeing one of these people that you say is sick, there's just there's sickness and there's incapability, and to see the look on a person, um, I think I'm trying to think where I put it. It might be one of the taglines that's on my Telegram um, profile. It says, "I can't wait to see the look on their face."
Ooh,
Okay.
love that.
Okay. I can't wait to see the look on their face. And of course, you and I both know that the look on their face is going to be from the results of the different things that come from from the RV, the all the different programs that are intended and driven to benefit, humankind. And I think, and you think about it, let's just say you look at a program like the RSS, and that's great. I mean, that's going to bolster a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to have a renewed spark in life. But if they don't have the health, like they all say, it's great to have a job, but you need to have your health. And so when we can provide the health, which then couples with the benefits of a program, an economic program like RSS, then we truly are in the golden age of mankind. I mean, that is truly, I mean, we have covered the main facets. Now, after that, it's up to them to build a life that is enriched and is full of, hopefully there's more love in their life, there's more positivity. Um, when I read and think of things that people that don't think their device, their QT device, has done anything for them, I in my mind, what I'm thinking that it's that their life is fraught with negativity, and it's very difficult for this device to do what it needs to do if it's having to swim through a pond of negativity. You have to get positive, and you have to be hopeful, just like faith, just like our personal faith. If we don't have the faith, it's very difficult to see our spiritual growth and see the spiritual aspects of life. Uh, and so, you know, one of the first things I'd say to people who would get something like this, I'd say, you're going to have to become, you're going to have to be positive about it. If you're negative, that wall is too hard to climb. Okay. Nothing's going to climb a negative wall. And so I know I went into it. First of all, I'll say that, having Ron's endorsement in the beginning was a positive thing for my entree to QHS. I mean, I believed what he said. I believed his words. And so I said, okay, if Ron says it's okay, then I'll move forward, because I hadn't done any research. I mean, other than Ron's endorsement, that's the only thing I had. And I believe it's from that point on, then it was up to me to determine, how I felt about it and what I believed about it. And for me, this is, sometimes I feel bad about this, but I got my black device, gosh, within 2 weeks after I came in. And then I got a white one, didn't even know it was coming, about 2 weeks later. Okay. And, my wife, Sylvia, would say, well, what about mine? I said, sweetie, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't do anything to get this way other than we paid our money. Um, so we have had a very positive experience. I mean, I haven't had long waiting periods. And then the next thing I know, my name's on the list for another white one. So I have two white ones. So I relay because when I'm gone a lot, I take one and it lasts for like 3 days. And then the other one's sitting on a charger. I come back and I switch them around. I take the other. So I'm rotating every day. Some people carry two. I haven't felt the need to carry two. One's good enough for now.
Well,
So yeah, I can't wait to see, just the immense impact this is going to have, because there are a lot of hurting people out there, physically hurting.
yeah.
And to be able to bring something like this, I mean, I've always believed, I mean, I've been a big believer in NASARA, and that very last thing that's on most of the NASARA presentations is the release of the 6,000 technologies. I've believed, if I didn't believe anything else about NASARA, I believe that there was 6,000 technologies out there that have been, suppressed from us. And so, we're part of that. And so I think it's going to have a huge effect on mankind. Now, I don't even say the United States. I don't even say Texas, which is where I live in Texas. I'm talking mankind globe wise.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's what we're here for. And that's why you came to live on Earth at this time. It's for this. I believe that all the admin, all the members, everybody is an important piece of our puzzle, and they came here for this. And so everybody's voice is important. And I feel that we're all here for this reason, because it's a huge project. And so together we can achieve our desired goals.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Larry, so much for being a part of MAC.
I
And
want to add, I kind of want to add something.
okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say forgive me for maybe not being up to speed on a lot of the programs, and I wasn't, you know, reading as much. So consequently, I'm having to scramble now to get caught up and understand. And you gave me some understanding today. I wrote some notes down. But understand that's the problem I had.
Okay. Well, I love when we can find problems from other people, learn from them so that we don't make those same mistakes with others moving forward. So
Yeah.
I think that's really good feedback, and that will be something that we can, address. But I do think that the MAC group asking the members, what do you need support with? What areas
Mhm.
of your life are you struggling with? And hopefully that's something that we are able to help and fill that gap.
Do you think people will be truthful and transparent to share? I mean, there is a general shroud in culture that is, play their cards very close to the vest, and will they? And really, I'm thinking more in terms of those that don't. Well, I don't know what you can help me with. Okay.
Well, here's the thing, if they're not willing to share, then we can't help. And people have to realize that the hearts of those here that are serving, they have the heart to help humanity. And so we can't make anybody do what they're not comfortable doing.
Correct.
We can only share our passion and our heart and our willingness to help. And if they aren't ready yet to have that trust, then they're just not ready yet.
Yeah.
So, you can only do what you can do.
The issue as that Sylvia and I have dealt with and encountered in our circle or our sphere of influence. Uh, I'm in a family of doctors and lawyers. Okay, and they redefine skepticism. We've talked to practically every one of them about the device, and they just seem to be totally unwilling to even engage. I have one brother-in-law and his wife, which is Sylvia's sister, is getting some early onsets of dementia. I mean, she can't remember a conversation in the duration you and I have been speaking. She couldn't remember portions of that conversation. And I said to him, I said, would you be willing to try something, even if it was totally, out there? if it would help Thelma uh, regain her memory. He goes, yeah, I would. So I pulled out my device and he went and looked at the QHS website. So at least he's the only one. Now, let me also say that of all my family, our family, everybody thought I was crazy for doing carnivore. That
Right.
was 9 months ago. Now we know who was crazy.
So I have a suggestion for you. So if you go to the QHS channel and search up phrases. So I know I remember talking to one guy who had Alzheimer's, and his name is Enoch. Go search up his video and share that with your brother-in-law.
Okay. When you're saying the QHS channel, you're talking the YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Hold on. Here we go. I just found it. I'll share it with you. But I feel like if all of our members showed specific videos of testimonials from members that coincided with the condition that they're dealing with, because it goes back to the whole thing about disbelief. Like if you believe that one person can do it, then there's no reason that you can't do it,
Yeah.
right? It's the whole thing with the guy who broke the 4-minute mile. No, they thought it was physically impossible to run a sub-4, that the human body couldn't do it until the first guy did. And then one after another, they were running a sub-4 because now they realized it was possible. So I feel like these videos give people hope and faith and awareness of possibilities.
I can go around the block in 4 minutes.
Is it a small block?
Yeah. Small. It's a small block. Well,
Anyway,
I do believe that this is phenomenal. I know it's hard to provide answers because whenever we don't meet a deadline or don't meet a time frame expectation, remember I talked about expectations earlier,
yep.
is I think that's when people start doubting. I happen to have I hate to use the word relationship, I have to have contact with a LWS member, and he's kind of a crusty, grumpy kind of guy. I don't know him. It's just that he saw that I had my CAC on the map, and he reached out to me. He's from the Dallas Fort Worth area, and he has had a very negative experience with QHS, and I listened to him. I don't know that I have any. In fact, I know I don't have any answers for him. But I find that part of the issue that he's dealing with is he's just so stinking negative. I mean, I don't care if you gave him the pill of all cures, it wouldn't cure him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just think there's some people it's just not, and it was really hard. I mean, I haven't spoken to anybody or really worked with anybody uh, that's outside of our circle. This is an outsider. I called him an outsider to hear his take on all this. And finally, one day I'd say, look, I got to let you know that I'm very pleased with my QHS environment. In fact, I said I'm become part of one of the active committees. And he said, well, I guess that means I shouldn't share with you. I said, brother, you can always share with me. I know what to say, what not to say, and when to say it, when not to say it. But our conversations are between us. And if there's anything I can do to help you, I'll be glad to help you. He was willing to give me, he felt that he was so far on the out and out that he was willing to send me his currency. And then put him to work in my organization.
Well, a leopard doesn't change their spots.
Yeah.
And, people are wired a certain way most of the time. And so the only thing we can do is love them and encourage them from the sidelines, but just don't let that negative energy creep into our lives.
Right. And I've been in contact with him for quite some time. I prayed for him and his family who were going through some illnesses. I mean, I committed a prayer time over a period of time. And so, I mean, you can't not love somebody you pray for.
Mm.
Okay. So, but it's still, if he were to be open enough to let me tell him what I thought the problem is, I said, you need to go down to the river and wash that attitude of yours. Okay. And you know, because I think attitude is so much of what we're up against.
Oh yeah.
I,
It's
I
basic
think
law of
body, our
attraction.
illnesses, pardon?
It's basic law of attraction. There's an old saying that says, if you think you can or think you can't, you are right. You know, we are creators of our own reality. Ron says this all the time, you know? And so when we have doubt and fear, then it's just like telling the universe, well, I changed my mind. I really don't want that after all. You
Yeah.
know, it's like we want to focus on what we want in our
Yeah.
lives, not the absence of it.
Well, he was so sure he was out, that he said, you know what? He said, look, I don't want my currency to go to waste. Let me just send it to you. And then after you get up and go and hire me to work in your organization.
How funny.
Yeah.
Well, Larry, you're a great guy. I appreciate you so much. And I love having you on Mac. So have a beautiful holiday and we will talk next week.
Well,
thank you for making this QHS project fly. This valorous admin team, thank you. The Key community welcomes you. Thank you for making your home QHS healthy and happy. Thank you for helping us place QH centers all around the world. Together, hand in hand, we make miracles happen. QuantumHealingSystems.org. Thank you.